Welcome to the GCYF certification meeting. We did this last night at the NOOA meeting, but we're going to do it again today to be sure that we get all of the um, everything that you need here. I will say I'm Marty Hughes. I am the officials coordinator for Green Country Youth Football. Many of the things we'll talk about today will apply to the other youth leagues that we officiate, but all of their league specific rules are not consistent. So we will do our best to make you aware of any differences there. I put together a play card like I have in years past, and I will send this to everyone on our mailing list, um, along with a copy of the full GCYF rules addendum with markings where these things are specifically listed. This year, I have added, beside the major headings, which rule in their rule addendum they apply to. All rules that are not in this rule addendum are just regular NFHS rules, and so we'll follow those things. We'll tell you that this year we have a $5 per game raise that applies both to four-man crews and three-man crews. If you work games with a four-man crew, you'll get $55 a game. If because of an injury or a scheduling conflict or a difficulty, you have to work a game with the three-man crew, then you'll get $60 a game. We do our best for that not to happen, but every year there are a few games where, because of one thing or another, it does. So we do our best to have four men on every game that we cover. We're going to go over the rules addendum tonight. Do want to mention a couple of things right off the bat. One is the new rule about mouth guards. They have been notified. All of the coaches for GCYF have been notified of the new rule. So the mouth guards with the propellers and with the little chains hanging down and the pacifier rings, those are no longer acceptable. Those are now illegal. I have seen conversations about this where it said painted decorations and all of those things were illegal. That is not true. I'm going to show you here very quickly the NFHS rule update that kind of tells you what is legal and what is not. Obviously, on Zoom, it reverses things, so you'll have to figure all that out. But the pictures and everything on the outside, as long as it does not change the structure or function of the mouth guard, those are okay. Anything that sticks out from that mouth guard or hangs down from it, any of that is now illegal. If he has a strap from his face mask, but it's hanging down, it has to be removed. They can only have one mouth guard, so they can't have one in and one hanging. Again, don't know why they want to do that, but sometimes they do. We're going to go through all of the league specific rules for GCYF tonight. And I will just say that the schedule starts within here about 10 days. They have scrimmages on August the 1st at least two sites, maybe a couple of more. We're going to try to get a few officials out to each of those sites. Some of you veteran officials that would be willing to go and help some of our first year guys, since they will not have the opportunity to work high school scrimmages or anything of that nature before they actually have to be on the field. We need to have an opportunity to get them out there and get them started. So if you can help us, I'll be sending out announcements about where those are going to be. I know there's going to be one in Catoosa that starts at 9 a.m. on August 1st. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be one in Tahlequah as well. and they'll be going at both ends of the field. Several things that uh, are common to what they've done in years past. But if you can help me with that, you could email me, let me know that I can count on you for that. Um, the the GCYF is making a point that every overweight player has the X on their helmets. They are adamant about that this year. They are actually handing out those neon green X's to all of the associations. And so at any point that there is someone in the ball game who is an X that does not have that identification, the coach is to be ejected and the players to be removed from play until he gets that identification. Also, a 5 yard penalty and a loss of down if they have participated. Again, I don't expect that that will be something that we have to deal with a whole lot because they're doing their best to take care of that before we get the season started. Um, they will be allowing coaches on the field for the first two games at all of the grade levels. Um, this is because they don't have very much time before they actually start games that they can practice and be with the kids. And so games one and two, all age groups are going to be allowed to have two coaches on the field. After the second game, first and second grade will be allowed two coaches. Uh, third, um, third grade will be allowed one coach, and I believe fourth, fifth, and sixth will have no coaches on the field as has been the policy. Anytime we have coaches on the field, which includes if we have heat index modifications that are made. So on the back of your card, it will tell you what those levels are. But the if it gets to a certain point, they are allowed to have a coach on the field with a water bottle. And we will have those coaches will have the opportunity the opportunity to coach, but they will be under the same rules as any coaches on the field are. And that is they have to be 15 yards back from the line of scrimmage at the snap. They have to, whenever the center touches the ball, they need to stop coaching. And so we're going to need to make them aware of that early on. It's amazing how often they don't figure out that they have to be telling their center not to touch the ball till they're ready. But if they continue to coach after the center has touched the ball, the first time we will give them a warning. The second time, it's a 5 yard penalty. And the third time, that coach is going to have to be taken off the field. He can continue to coach from the sideline. It's not an ejection, and they can replace the coach that's out on the field. We just have to keep under control that they're not allowed to coach during the play. Uh, they can say go, 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 those kind of things. They can cheer, but they cannot coach. They cannot direct where to cut, hold the ball, anything that could be construed as coaching is not allowed uh, after the center has touched the ball. Um, they are going to exchange rosters at the coin toss. This is something that we've been doing over the past 2 or 3 years, but they're making this very specific that it has to be done. This is also the time where we will find out if there are any kids who are um, uh, allowed to wear the tinted face mask. In order for them to wear a tinted face mask, it has to be marked on the roster that they have the paperwork necessary from an optometrist. That is all taken care of by the league at their weigh-in, all of that. But the piece of paper that they have with their roster will have an initial by those kids that are allowed to have the tinted face shield. So be sure that you check on that. For the extra weight, those X's, there are certain limitations for them. They're all on your card there. An X, if he is once we get to third grade and we've got kickoffs, an X that is on the kickoff team has to be on the front line. If he receives the ball, he must go down immediately. He can't advance the ball. Any X on defense who recovers a fumble or intercepts a pass is allowed to run with the ball, but on offense, at no time is an X allowed to advance the ball. A punter can be an X, but he must punt and he can't advance the ball at all as well. So read over those weight rules. They're pretty simple. There are a couple of differences in regard to any defense with third grade through sixth grade. Any defender with an X has to line up on the line of scrimmage. That rule doesn't apply in the first and second grades. And so we need to be aware of those kind of things. 2-point conversions. No changes in the rule there. The GCYF does try to encourage teams to kick extra points. And so a kicked extra point will be 2 points. A play from scrimmage will be 1 point. Through fifth grade, it is basically a dead ball play. Everybody lines up. The defense is able to yell, scream, holler, wave their hands. They just can't jump up and down, and they can make no advance toward the line of scrimmage. Same thing for the offense there. So in sixth grade, they have to line up in accordance with all of their defensive lineup rules, but it can be a live rush. And um, the center is always protected in that situation. So be aware of that. Okay. That's the point after. So that is at all levels. Okay. Then onside kicks. We um, Once a team is up by 9 points or more, they are not allowed to onside kick. The problem with that rule is that we have third grade kickers that may go up there and swing as hard as they can, and it squibbles out 8 yards, you know. So rather than try to determine intent, we've put a rule in that those teams, once they're up 9 points or more, when they kick the ball, if it is touched by anyone on R or K before it goes 15 yards, then the ball is dead immediately right there and belongs to R. And so be aware, be communicating with each other that, okay, we're in the special onside kick score situation, whatever the case may be, but just be aware of that. The team that is behind can always onside kick, but the onside kick rules for them are your normal NFHS rules. The ball has to travel 10 yards and then they can get on the ball, all those kind of things. Be aware. And again, this is important. This is one of those little things that sometimes varsity officials have a problem with, that on an onside kick, the ball does not go 10 yards before it is touched by K. We don't have a flag. We drop the beanbag at that point because that is a first touching. That's not a violation. Now, if they go and they possess it before it's gone 10 yards, all we do is we call the ball dead and we give it to R because it hasn't traveled far enough. But again, we need to drop a beanbag there because once it's been touched by K, short of that 10 yards, R can run up and pick it up and run 15 yards, fumble the ball, and K gets the ball, and they still have the option to go take it at first touching. So there's some, that's one of the idiosyncrasies of football rules, but we need to properly do that. We don't throw a flag, we throw our beanbag. Okay. The mercy rule, 28-point mercy rule. At any point that 28 points, one team is ahead by 28 points or more, then the clock runs for the rest of the game. Doesn't matter if it gets back down under 28 or not, the clock runs for the rest of the game. There is um, a modification for uh, the heat index rules, where after halftime, if we get to 28 points on a day when the heat index is in the area that it needs to be, then the game ends rather than just the clock runs. So be aware of that. That is on the back of your card at the very end. We put the heat index rules down here. Um, so overtime, if we get into an overtime, tied scores tied at the end of regulation, we will have one coin toss. The winner of that coin toss will have the choice of offense or defense. The loser has the choice of which end of the field we're going to play the entire overtime on. So whichever team is offense first will have 4 plays from the 10-yard line. Then the defense will have 4 plays from the 10-yard line. That will constitute one overtime. If we are still tied, we will switch to where the one that started on defense the first time will start on offense. The other will start on defense, and we'll do that. If we're still tied, that is 2 complete overtimes. Then we'll do the same thing, but we'll switch who starts first and start at the 5-yard line. If we still can't get a resolution after 2 more opportunities there, then we'll go back to the 10-yard line and we will go on deepest penetration. So that's what we need to be aware of there. And that is well spelled out on your card as well. Half times will be no longer than 8 minutes. And never less than 5 minutes. And they will communicate with you if they are wanting to shorten something to stay on schedule or something, and it's been a long day and you need the full 8 minutes. They will communicate with you. The head coach and only the head coach are to address the head game official. So if there are any issues of um, game rules interpretation or anything like that, the head coach is the one that should be speaking to you. Now, we all know that is one of the difficult areas in dealing with youth coaches. So we remind them. Now, again, we can and should be as communicative as we possibly can, but we want to do our very best to keep that sideline focusing on the kids, focusing on coaching the game, focusing on those things rather than on trying to officiate or trying to argue calls or suggest calls. So we'll let them know. Now, they do have the opportunity for a rules interpretation timeout. And the first one of those, regardless of if they're right or wrong, the first one of those is free. Okay, we're giving them one free one this year. After that, if they're wrong, it will cost them a timeout. If they're right, we go and we take care of the issue and they keep their timeout. If they're wrong, it costs them a timeout. They're not allowed one of these inside of 2 minutes of either half, And if they are out of timeouts, but would like to have a rules interpretation timeout, if they are wrong, we have a 5 yard penalty for delay of game. So be sure that what they are discussing is the administration of one of their rules. That be sure that we are interpreting it properly. This is not an opportunity for them to come and say, "Yeah, that was a hold," or "That wasn't a hold." That is something that's not up for discussion. They get one challenge per half per game. Now, what I'm going to do when we're finished here is I'm going to send out an email to everyone on our list that has a copy of this card. If you were at one of our meetings, if you were at the meeting in Grove last night, you would have got a laminated version of this. And if you're at one of our scrimmages where I can get it to you, I will still give you one of those. But I'm going to send out the master of that, and it'll be two-sided, two up. You'll have to print it out for yourself if you don't think we're going to be able to get together for you to get it. But I'm also going to send a copy of their rules addendum, where I've taken out the pages that have to do with grade eligibility and all that, which we don't deal with, and kind of marked it up so that you can see what the actual rule says in these league specific things. One of the things that I want you to notice is they have large sections about the ejection of coaches, the ejection of fans, so that you understand that Green Country Youth Football is probably the very best youth football league that we have access to, that we work with at all, when it comes to holding their coaches accountable for their actions, for their words, for all of that. There are grave consequences to these coaches and to the parents and to everyone if they end up being ejected from a ball game. So we need to be certain that we are controlled, that we do not allow our emotions to get involved in this, that we do not do anything arbitrarily, that we are sure that we have done everything we can to communicate with the coach, and that they have clearly, as we say, disqualified themselves, rather than us taking that upon ourselves, because there are severe penalties for them, and we need to be certain that we're handling that in a proper way. They are allowed to have 5 clearly identified coaches on the sideline, and also they're allowed to have 2 board members on the sideline as well, but they're not allowed to coach while they're on the sideline there. And so that rule of 5 coaches, 2 board members. There shouldn't be any other adults over there other than the chain crew. There'll be a water boy and things like that. Parents need to be in the stands, but the head coach is responsible for keeping that sideline clean. He may want us to help him sometimes if he's got a particularly difficult parent, but we need to make it clear to him that he is responsible for unruly fans. He's responsible to fix the issue. And if we have to discharge the fan from the stadium or whatever the case may be, we're going to do our best to enlist the organizations in that. So as I said, there are consequences to parents as well, as far as being ejected from a game. And so we need to be aware of that. No chain crew members are allowed to be under 16 years of age. The visiting team is going to provide the chain crew. It's important, again, I said last night, for a couple of reasons. First of all, that they are clearly able to do the task, do what's needed, can focus and work the change properly, but also so that they don't get too up in arms about so that the ones around them getting up in arms from time to time aren't too offensive. All right, we've already talked about the 10 advisors. Those are only allowed for those with the optometrist's permission, and those are listed on your roster. Remember that the first and second grade have a 40-second game clock. The third through sixth grade have a 25-second game clock. This is so that you can use a ready ref. I encourage you to to get one if you don't have one, if you are going to be a white hat in any of these games, or if you're a back judge on Friday night, ready ref is the best standard there. But we go the old school way is that we are punching the ball in, ready for play on every play. First and second grade, they have 40 seconds. When they get down to 10 seconds, that ready ref buzzes, and we are audible with coach. Coach, you got 10 seconds, and do your signals the way you should with all of that. Communicate with him as much as possible. Understand that the first couple of weeks they've had very limited practices. They have kids with very limited attention spans, and so. The first couple of weeks were fairly lax with the 40-second play clock and the 25-second play clock at older grades. First week, anyway, my policy is I'm not going to throw a flag for delay of game. I'm going to let you know, hey, you were 10 seconds beyond or whatever. That is, unless we get down, to the end of a game that's close, and we're not going to allow them um, to use that to waste time. Second week, I generally say if you're at the line of scrimmage when the clock runs out and just go a little beyond, we're not going to throw a flag. But if you're still chasing squirrels, it's going to be delay a game. Third week, then we're going to hold them to the standard. So just so that you're aware, we are working with them. We never, I mean, there's no advantage to us or to them really to throw that delay game signal. So do your best to keep it moving, but we need to manage the game. Understand that first and second grade, there's no special teams. They do not kick off. They get the ball at the 30-yard line to begin after a kick, after a score or whatever, they get it at their own 30-yard line. If they get to fourth down and you ask them at that point, do you want to punt? If they say yes, we kill the clock. We go 30 miles, maybe 30 yards from the previous spot, but no closer than the 30 going in. So there are times when you'll say, let them know, hey, if you punt here, you net 8 yards or whatever. So you make your decision based on that. The clock will run when we set the ball ready, when we blow it in for ready for play, even on a change of possession. So sometimes they'll want to be trying to use the clock. So on fourth down, you go ahead and blow that whistle, you start that clock. And if they say, okay, I'm going to let several of these seconds go off, and then right before we get to it, then I'll say I'm going to punt. Well, that's wise use of the clock. So I just make them aware that that's the case. And then so understand that. We'll talk about timing and things like that in a little bit. Third grade through sixth grade, we have kickoffs. Any grade is allowed to try the extra points, kicking the extra points, but most of the time it's just fourth, fifth, and sixth. We've had a few of the third graders, and I think we even had a second grade team try to kick one last year, may even have done it. So, but anyway, be aware of that. When the ball is hiked, it's a dead ball play other than sixth grade. If the holder does not catch the ball cleanly, the ball rolls beyond about a 3-foot radius from the holder, or if the holder has to stand up, it's automatically dead. If it hits his hands and bounces right here close and he's able to pick it up without getting up and hold it, we go on with that. Okay. Anytime a team chooses to punt, that punt is live. So when we choose the automatic punt, obviously, we're marking all that off. But if for one reason or another, sometimes the fourth graders, they want to trap that guy way down on the 2 yard line, and you can't do that with the automatic punt. So we're going to try to punt it down there. Okay, that's fine, but the punt is live. If they try to field goal, other than an extra point, they could do it, but it's live. And so we make them aware of all those things. Um, Alignments. First grade is 8-man football. And so there are only a couple of offensive alignments that are allowed in first grade. You have 5 on the line of scrimmage all the time. One center, 2 guards, 2 ends. Those 2 ends are eligible, but there can be no more than a 2 yard split between any of those. So they can't be split out. Okay. There's basically 5 there. The quarterback has to line up behind the center. Then the 2 running backs can be in one of 2 positions. They can either be split backs aligned with the guards, or they can be an I formation directly behind the quarterback. And those are the only offensive formations that are allowed in first grade. And no motion is allowed in first grade. In second grade, we've gone to 11 man at that point. So the restriction there is there has to be a balanced line, which means that however many are on the line of scrimmage, there has to be the same amount on each side of the center. So if you have a receiver on the line of scrimmage out here, that makes 3 on that side. Well, then you'd have to have a tight end or a receiver on the line of scrimmage out here to make it balanced, all of that. And then you have to have at least one running back other than the quarterback in the backfield, which is defined by the tackle box, basically. So those are the offensive positions. And then in second grade, they are allowed to go in motion, and the defense is allowed to shift with them if they do go in motion. Second grade, or on defense in first grade, um, the there are 4 on the defensive line, and they do not line up over the center, and the defensive tackles must be no further out than the outside shoulder of the offensive tackle. And so they have to be on that shoulder or head up. And the inside 2 have to be head up on the guards. Everyone else, all of the other positions in first grade, let me see here. I've got all they run the same defense in first grade. Um, Cornerbacks no closer than 3 yards from the offensive end, and they have to be 3 yards back. The safety has to be 5 yards back. And so we've got to keep in our minds for first grade, it's 3 and 3, and the safety 5 yards back. In second grade, they have to be in the 4-3 defense, and which means 4 offensive linemen. Again, can't be over the center. 3 linebackers. The defensive ends or defensive tackles have to be within 2 yards of the outside shoulder of the offensive tackle. So, in other words, they can move further out, but they can't go way out. They've got to go within 2 yards of that, either side. And then all 3 linebackers have to be between those 2 defensive ends. And then safeties have to be 5 yards back. The linebackers and the cornerbacks have to be at least 2 yards off the line of scrimmage, and that has to be the case at the snap. And so we need to be aware of that. Now, this is one of those instances. Well, no, it's not, because this is a 4-3. Once we get to third grade, the defensive formations. This is where we were having some issues last year. They have either three up to six on the line of scrimmage at the snap. Okay. So that includes anybody that's on the line of scrimmage, sideline to sideline. So the most that they can have is six on the line of scrimmage. Everyone else who is not one of those six has to be 2 yards off the line of scrimmage at the snap. Okay. Now, again, if they're a linebacker or a safety and they want to blitz, they would have to start their blitz far enough back so that at the snap they are not inside that 2 yards. So now we are trying to catch these things with four sets of eyes. So what we're going to have to do, they haven't changed the rule from last year, but they've asked us to be more aware of who's responsible for catching that. And about the only way we're going to be able to do is put another burden on the line of scrimmage guys. Again, if somebody runs up to the line of scrimmage right at the snap, if they're the seventh person, that's not a problem, right? But if they're the sixth person, that's not a problem. But if they're the seventh person, it is. So we've just kind of in our counts, in our pre-snap counts, we've got to figure out how many are on the line, and then we've got to, at least through our peripheral, be able to see if they're blitzing and getting inside of that 2 yards before the ball is snapped. Easy peasy, right? Um, Other than that, I think we are in pretty good shape for understanding the rules. We haven't, again, there haven't been a lot of changes. Um, I have given you a little better uh, rules card here, made a few adjustments to it so that you can sit and talk with a head coach and show him, what we have, and then there's a rule reference here that he can go look in his addendum if he doesn't think that we've got it right. But one thing that I would say is that I send out an email every week to both the president of the home and visiting associations to the place where you're being assigned. And I send that email to all of the officials that are assigned to those games that day. And I give contact information, I give your schedule for the day, and all of that kind of thing in that email. And as we go through the year, we have issues that arise, and we do our best to say, okay, hey, remember, this is the rule that they're arguing about. This is where we had a little problem here or there. And so please read those emails in full, not just, okay, who am I with and where am I going this week? Okay. And um, if you haven't been getting emails from me in that regard, then somehow I've got your wrong email. Now that's really hard to believe because Arbiter is based on your email. So anyway, I will begin making assignments probably sometime in the next week or so. Um, I generally for youth football will make the assignments week by week by Sunday night of the week before the game. So in this case, hopefully, it's going to be a little hard. Sunday night, August 2nd, is the night of our church anniversary. We got all kinds of big things going. I've got a service that night and everything. So it might be a day or two late for that first week. I may get the chance to get ahead of the game and get some of those assignments made. But if you would, as soon as you see assignment come up in Arbiter, please go and decide whether you can accept or decline, because I have to get everything covered. And rarely, if ever, does everyone that I assign accept those games. And so I have to go to a second tier and second options and different things like that. This first, again, as I've said every year, the first 3 or 4 weeks, probably, you may not get a full slate of games. You may get a partial slate of games because I've got to try to get everybody working. And until Labor Day, we've only got this one league. After Labor Day, we've got OKL, so I've got other places to send people. I've also got a notification today that there are several schools or several associations that only have 5 teams or 4 teams. The updated list of teams that didn't make that I've been sent is Locust Grove will not have a fourth grade team. Oologah will not have a second or a fourth grade team. Sequoia won't have a fourth grade team. Wagner won't have a fifth grade team. Veneta won't have a sixth grade team. And South Delaware County won't have a sixth grade team. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 out of 16 teams that have at least one team that is not there. Now they have 17 teams this year, so there will always be one team on bye. So there will be some times where they'll be able to go ahead and have 6 games or whatever. But you're just going to have to recognize uh, it's going to be a little bit of a juggling act to get everybody scheduled. Now, it will actually benefit once we get into the OKL season because, if you're done at 3:30 because you only have 5 games, that would give you time, if you'd like, to make it to one of our OKL sites and work 2 or 3 more games in the evening if you want to do that. So we're gonna do our best to keep everybody as busy as we possibly can. Um, I think that's pretty much covers just about everything. Um, if you have any specific questions, you give me a call. Watch for your emails. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd. Watch your emails tonight and tomorrow, and I'll send you the play card and the GCYF rules addendum so that you have a chance to look over that a little bit. And then I'm trying to get a definitive answer from them on what scrimmages there's going to be so that I can get that out there as well. So let's look forward to having a great season. It's right upon us. Man, it's getting really close, and I think it's going to be a great year. We'll talk to you soon.